If we take my definition of an innovation lab, for me, it's a team that enables an organization to innovate in the long term. This team need to be built up that they're not gatekeepers. They're more facilitators of innovation in an organization than the experts who are doing innovation only. And of course, it depends on what your goal is. So if you want to disrupt your business model, if you want to figure out how do you take your business to the next level from a business model perspective, it's a different setup and a different way of working than if you want to improve and foster the innovation inside your core of your business. But let's take today the example of core business innovation. For me, it's about starting small. Starting small, building a team that's coming from the inside of the organization. I have done a couple of mistakes, but I as well had the possibility to do a couple of things right. When I was building the first innovation team inside of IKEA, it was about taking people from inside of the business who understand the culture of the business, who understand the challenges of the business, but as well who are ambitious to grow and to have different opinions. So, different opinions between each other. So, for me, it was important to build a team that argues with each other but understands the necessity of the business, what is required if we do this thing, what is required if we innovate in that way. And then starting with education. It is important that you take a team on that journey where you go, I think, two parts. The leadership, how does this team, if you call it innovation team, empower the organization to innovate? How do they secure that there is an empowerment mechanism inside of the organism of the organization? And that's the number one reason why you should build an innovation lab. And then, of course, you can go into education of the innovation management, building up a systematic way of how an organization works with innovation. And there are things like a portfolio. How do you work with a portfolio of projects inside of the organization that are tailor made towards innovation? So if you say, okay, we want to innovate our core, what are the different things you focus on? How do you build that system that allows you to bring a portfolio of problems you want to solve into ideas, into projects, and then taking that into the organization? That means system, portfolio, projects, how you deal with all of that. And then, of course, you go deeper into how do you prototype, how do you validate ideas, how do you go more into this, and how do you measure that for the business. So it's more about educating this team so that they can help the organization, again, going into the empowerment part to make it happen. Apply what you learn straight away. I think it's not about taking a team, implementing a team and educating them for a year and then they're starting. They need to do it from day one. If you then take the team that can engage with the vertical of your business, or it can engage with a specific location of your business, and really taking that into that test environment. So this team is directly starting with the empowerment of one larger team, one part of your business, and involves all levels of the hierarchy straight away. Because then they basically start with the empowerment understanding from day one instead being the gatekeeper. So how do we empower? How do we train? How do we use the knowledge we gained to bring that into the business and impact the business? I think it's very, very important that the focus is on business impact because that's what the language of most organizations is. And if you do that, it's going to be successful. Going back to the transparency, be transparent. What's going on? Show what you're doing, show what you're doing wrong, show what you're doing right, show the successes, but also the failures and what you learned with the failures. And a big topic which I should have done years back, and I can highly recommend everyone to do this, specifically in the corporate, document your journey. That's basically how I would build an innovation lab.